Not
Not
yet.
yet, not yet. Okay.
We're live. We're live.
Wow. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday night team call with Chris Downing, the creator of Shift Shop. We have 15 teams on here, probably more than that, but we are going live on YouTube. So if you're not seeing this, or if you're trying to get in on the Google Hangout, tell your teams to go to the YouTube link and click on that, and you'll be able to see this. But we've had a lot of questions that were asked by the teams, and we are excited to get Chris on here. So basically, let's just introduce him. Straight from Ohio, got contacted by Carl Deichler, and his vision came to life since last November. This amazing program that a lot of us are in is called Shift Shop. But Chris, welcome to the team.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So I guess some people are just asking, like, who are you? Like, how'd this all come about?
Who am I? Well, let's see here. I'm Chris Downing. No, I'm just a small town boy, man. You know, I live in Canton, Ohio, and I have 2 training facilities here. And that's it, man. I'm in this little corner, this little tiny place in the world. You know, this little corner, area, and it's got a lot of great athletes came out of here. We have a lot of guys who play pro ball, from our town. CJ McCullum plays for the Portland Trailblazers. I train him every summer in the area. It's been Eric Snow. The list could go on and on, man. It's a lot of really good athletes here. And so basically, pretty much all the pro guys from the area, they train at my gym. In the summer I train them, getting them ready for their season. That's about it, man.
So how long ago did you open your gyms?
The first gym I opened six years ago, and then the second gym I opened it 3 years ago.
Okay, and what kind of training were you doing before this whole Shift Shop thing came about?
Just speed and agility,
okay.
Circuit training, and just that's basically it, man. I trained a ton of athletes, anywhere from my son who's 3 to high school, college, and then I started working with it kind of started like shifting to different people. I had one challenge. One lady, she lost her son to cancer, and so she was going to see a therapist, and she was coming to my classes, and I was just training her just kind of the same way I approached the Shift Shop. And then next thing you know, I started training her privately, and she stopped going to counseling. She's like, I get more out of these sessions than I do counseling. I'm thinking, no, you need to go to your counseling sessions. You know what I mean? And then I had a person who, one of the more touching stories is actually on my YouTube channel. It was recent. There was a kid, Zach. He stopped growing at 32 weeks or something like that in his mom's belly. And he was 18 months and couldn't walk. Like, he would take 3 steps and fall. And he had bruises on his face, just from falling. And then he walked diagonally and he would fall. And so his mother saw some YouTube videos of Chris Jr. And she popped in my gym one day and she was like, hey, I was just wondering, if you would be interested in training my son. I'm thinking this is an athlete, a young kid. I said, can you tell me a little bit about him? She said, well, he's right here. And I'm like, this little guy right here? How old is he? 2? She said, well, he's 18 months. I said, ooh. I said, well, she said, the reason why I asked is I saw, I watched YouTube and I saw you train your son. I'm like, oh, man. Okay. I said, well, listen, honestly, my son is raised in a gym. That's, the kid was so socially awkward. We took him to, preschool this year. He walked in there looking for speed ladders. They had toys. And I'm like, he looked at me and was like, Daddy, where's the speed ladders? I'm like, oh, no, bro, ain't no speed ladders in here. You're going to learn. So he had a hard time adjusting, just to preschool. So anyway, make a long story short, I went home, and I always looked at, the people that came to me, they came to me for a reason. I realized, after my uncle passed away, that I had a gift. And so just different things were happening. So I came home, and I kind of meditated on the idea of training this little guy. And she just wanted her son to walk, man. So I went with the little Chris. I said, hey, want to come to work with me tomorrow? He's like, yeah. So I knew that the little kid, after meditating, I knew that the little kid would resonate with CJ more than he would resonate with me. I'm a stranger. So what I did is I took my son to the gym with me the next day, and I set ladders outside the length of the turf, and I had my son hold his hand because in the kid's head he would think that they're just playing. I had my son just walk with him up and down the ladders, and once the kid, and I would just praise him and clap, and then once the little guy got comfortable, then I started walking with him, and then it was about 3 weeks later, a month later, he could walk the whole length of my gym without falling. So all those videos are on YouTube, man. So that's when I started realizing, like, okay, this is bigger than fitness.
Definitely, definitely. I think that story resonates with who you are, because from what I saw in Punta Cana, and I want to get people the vision of what I saw from an outsider is that I didn't know who you were. I didn't know what was going to be going on there. And I walk into this room and you got on stage with this big smile on your face and you started talking, and it was like just the amount of passion that you had up on that stage. Everybody in that room was just staring at you. And by that time that workout was done, every single person in the room was a fan of Chris Downing. And it was so amazing to see. And I think that's what came out in those YouTube channels, is that you really care about people, and it's not all about go, 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 go. It's more about expanding your mind and shifting your mental state also.
Yeah.
So let's go into this, because this is what everybody's here for. Tell us about the Shift Shop. These people on this call have never done one of your workouts or seen Shift Shop yet, so they want to know what they're going to be in for come July.
Well, the Shift Shop is kind of, first of all, Carl discovered me on YouTube. So he has this Malibu property, and I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but it's incredible. It's like surrounded by the mountains. It's unbelievable.
No, we don't get to go there. Only you.
So it's about 50 yards. It's really nice. And I guess he was out there running on it, and he had this thought, like, man, it would be cool to have an outdoor training program, workouts on turf. So then he went in the house or went to Beachbody, got on YouTube and looked up workouts on turf. And then one of my videos popped up, and it was the video of me training my son. And so when he watched the video, he said it moved him. And then he went to my channel, and that's when he saw all my work. But what was so interesting is the Shift Shop was supposed to be an outdoor training program, and it wasn't called Shift Shop. It was called OCD, Outdoors with Chris Downing.
Okay.
And so what happened was, when I was out in LA and we was testing it, and we couldn't find the proper syncing device that would cut out, disturbances of like sirens and things that's unpredictable that you can't control, because of my style of training and how I like to engage and talk to you and keep you in the moment. It's kind of hard to hear that if you hear sirens, and just to keep you in the moment. So anyway, we tested some more things, and finally Carl was like, you know what, let's just scratch this idea for now as far as having it outside. Let's make it a 21-day program. Let's take it back indoors until we figure out, how we're going to, handle the syncing thing a little later. And so Elenite flew to Ohio, and she kind of looked at me and said, this is what we're thinking. What are you thinking? And I wanted to go into the whole project, very humble and open-minded, because this was a new lane for me. When I originally met with them, I'm in this room with 15 people, and Carl says, so how do you come up with your workouts? And I looked at everybody and I smiled. I smile a lot. And and they looked at me, and I said, you really want to know? He said, yeah. I said, well, when I train teams, I have all my stuff, like tires, things that I know I'm going to use, sent to the school. And what I did is I would arrive like 40 minutes, 45 minutes earlier before training, and just walk the field and just allow everything to download into my spirit, man. And I would freestyle every workout you see on YouTube. I freestyled it. I just told my buddy, turn on the camera and follow me. And I just set up stuff on a dime, and we just roll the camera. I would demonstrate the move, and that was it. And so he said, so you've never written out a workout? I said, I've never written out a workout. He said, you serious? I said, I promise. I said, I'm like a rapper that freestyle. I've never written out a program. So then he was thinking, okay, can he cue? What they didn't know is I have an acting background. And so I did modeling and acting prior to, along with, my gym stuff. So he asked if I could cue. And I'm like, what do you mean? So then, I had to, go through some stuff, some cueing with them. But they actually at that point started talking to other trainers because they wasn't sure if I could cue. So anyway, I guess they met with several different trainers, and his wife kept saying, no, it's the Downing guy. That's our guy. And then Carl said, yeah, I think you're right. And they called and was like, hey, we want to get this thing done. So August 20th, I signed the contract, flew out to LA in October. We had 4 months to get it done. We got it done, and like we got the program written completely out in like a couple days, and that's it. We just started a test group, testing it, and that was it, man. And so we were down to the last, the deadline, the last day to come up with a name. That we tried. Power Rise was a name. Level Up was a name. And we could not find a name. And finally, Carl texted hours before the deadline, said Shift Shop, and I was like, what? Shift Shop? Like I couldn't connect with it. So he said, I want you guys to have Chris meet me in the office tomorrow, because it was right after our test group. Went to office the next day. He said, you don't like Shift Shop, do you? I said, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't understand it, how that relates to me. And I have to be married to the name if I'm going to believe in it. He said, I totally agree. He said, this is where I came up with the name. He said, I was driving down La Brea Avenue the other day, and all I saw was these shops. And like, I started thinking, people bring their cars here to be remodeled, repainted, broken down, all that good stuff. That's what you do to people. You break people down and you build them up to be stronger, better, more confident. He said, it reminds me of your gym in Ohio where you have that garage. He said, and that's when you open that garage, you close that garage, you have no idea what's going on in that place. There's a whole transformation happening. You open that garage, here comes a nice looking car after 3 weeks, or here comes a person's body being changed after 3 weeks. And that's what you represent. When he said that, I said, so that's it. It's a shop. And he said he didn't want another program. He said, when you go to BOD, all you see is programs. He said, with you, I want people to feel like they're going to a place and not just doing a program. And I said, so it resonated with me right away.
Well, I am glad that you guys brought it inside, because, well, I mean, the other program might have been great also, but just, you know, doing the last 21 days of the Shift Shop, it was a pretty humbling experience, because I've worked harder than I have in a long, long time with working out. Now, you said it's a 21-day program. The first week's 25 minutes, the second week's 35 minutes, and the third week's 45 minutes. Can you just explain to people like how that ramps up and who this program is going to be good for?
So the whole concept, obviously the shop represents where we're working out, but the shifting part is shifting from 10 minutes each week. So we start out week one. Week one is just kind of like a foundational week where you're just doing basic, you know, functional movements. It's not supposed to be very hard. It's just supposed to get your body ready. Week two, we go to 35 minutes, extended 10 minutes. It starts getting a little more intense. Week three, we go to 45 minutes, and that's when it gets real. That's when we really, really like dialing in. And so the whole shift concept, it represented that. But what happened was, as we were like really like doing the test groups and digging into it, my mind just went to another place, thinking like, wait a minute, shift. Like, you shifting your mindset. Like, this is tough. So then we countered it with the nutrition plan. So I sat down with Denis, and he was like, so how do you want to do the nutrition plan? What do you do when you want to get lean out? I said, okay, what I usually do is I cut my carbs completely. So when I would have a photo shoot, like a modeling job, a month out, I would just cold turkey cut my carbs, right? And so what happened was, about the 8th, 9th day, I would start getting like symptoms. I would get headaches. I would get, or I would just be irritable or tired, or I would be emotional. And I was just like, why is my body doing this after like 8 or 9 days? But I had a goal. My goal was my photo shoot. Now, this is the part that's powerful. So after doing this so many times, one day the light bulb went off. So I started thinking like, man, this is routine. The 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th day, why is my body doing this? And it clicked, because I left my comfort zone. Because it didn't do that any other time, because I was eating crap or just eating whatever I wanted. But here's the thing that was so unique. When I started getting those symptoms, I started celebrating it, because that told me I left my comfort zone. That told me that I was heading towards my goal. So what I did is I started embracing it. When I started embracing it, after those couple of days, all of a sudden my thoughts got more clear. My complexion started changing, and I look in the mirror. Oh shoot, I done got leaner like that quick. So then now I'm motivated. I have more energy. I'm thinking, I don't have any carbs. How do I have this energy? So then I would, get a couple more weeks, do the job. Then I would see the pictures or see the commercial, and I'm like, man, I'm like super fit here. And I had a different type of confidence in front of the camera. And that's when it really hit me. Like I made a shift at that moment, man. I made a shift to like not be, you know, a prisoner of my taste buds or not be confined by my old nature, the nature that wanted to stay complacent. I needed to dial in and go towards my goal so I can present a better me in front of that camera. So when I told Denis that, he said, yeah, but we can't. That's great, but how can we structure this for everybody? So that's why week 1 of the meal plan, you get starchy carbs. Week 2, you get less carbs. Week 3, you get no carbs, but you continue to get fruits and veggies the whole program. We just get rid of the starchy stuff.
Yeah, and like from what Carl explained it in one of his videos, is that you started out with the 25-minute video workout videos is because it gives people the confidence that they can do it.
Absolutely.
And then the next week it's 35, so it's a little bit better. And then you go to the 45, and it's only a week long of the 45 one, so you know you got the confidence built up, and you keep going. And you warned that around days 8 to 11. Yeah. You are going to feel that shift because you're ramping up the intensity of the workouts, and those starchy carbs are going down. So that's when you really have to dig deep and know where your goal is and keep going.
Yeah.
Since we've already brought this up, this is the #1 question about this whole program that we've heard from these teams. We reached out ahead of time and we asked, you know, what questions would you want to know from Chris? And nutrition is seriously the #1. So. Do you want me to ask you questions about it that they're asking, or do you want to break it down really quick?
The nutrition part is basically, what are their questions? That'd probably be better.
Well, first of all, it is the container system. So everybody that has been using the container system on the 21-day fix or along with other programs, the Shift Shop guide still has the nutrition guide that shows you which containers to have. So week 1, you'll have a certain amount of yellows. Week 2, you'll have, you know, less yellows, and then week 3, everybody gets 0 yellows. So it's, you know, that's how you cut out the starchy carbs, and that's where the shift is happening. I guess the main question is can vegans do this? Vegans and vegetarians, and that was brought up many times.
Right, absolutely. Because if you remember on the program, you get a grocery list. I mean, it says fruits. It's a ton of fruits. Veggies, ton of veggies, protein. So vegans, every level, no matter what you eat, it's tons of options for you. So that's why, we stress making sure that grocery list was there just so people can navigate, whatever nutrition, goals they have or the way their lifestyle that it complemented that.
Perfect. So yes, you get the same amount of calories each week. So if I'm in the 1,800 to 2,100 calorie range, I'm going to have the same amount of calories each week. It's just shifting of the proportions of your proteins, carbs, and fats that are changing.
Right.
Let's see. Another question I had was, before we get further into this, there was a letter that you wrote. That it was on another call, a letter that you wrote to yourself to manifest your dreams. And people are asking about that too, because I guess it was an interesting story.
Yeah, so it all started from like, I went through some really rough stuff, man, last couple of years. And so I was in a state of brokenness, man. I was just in a bad place. And so during that time, I was just empty. I was lost. Like I won't say I was lost. I was on an island by myself. I didn't have friends. I didn't have, I had a couple people around me, but for the most part, it was dark, man. It was a very depressing moment. And so during that time, I realized that, I'm a motivator, man. I'm an influencer. I'm able to, bring other people out of their stuff, but I didn't have anybody to bring me out of mine. You see what I mean? So what I did was I wrote myself a letter. And in the letter, it was actually 2015. I named it. It was the last day of December, right before New Year's Eve, going into 2016. And in the letter, I wrote my 2016. So I took every aspect of my life, right? Every aspect of my life. And so let me go a little deeper, just so you guys can see where it all come from. So basically, 2 years ago, I got in trouble. I had a drug charge. And so in that time, you know, I lost a lot of friends. I lost, you know, a lot of people who were allegedly, you know, supposed to be close to me. And so during that moment, there was a guy who I mentioned, I told my buddy, turn the camera on and follow me. He's a really good friend of mine, still a good friend of mine. But at the time he said, you know, I can't be affiliated with you, man, because of your situation. I said, you know, I understand, man. He said, I can't do your videos anymore. So I had no idea how to film and edit at all. And this is why I'm going to really explain to you why the Shift Shop is the Shift Shop and why I lose so much passion. So what happened was, I got off the phone with them, and the dude was like, I was sitting there, and one of my friends was like, "What's the matter, man?" I said, "Dude, this guy just told me he can't do my videos anymore. What am I going to do?" Because I posted videos on YouTube for fun. I didn't do it for money. I just did it because I just love to do it. And so I went the next day. I got up. I went to Best Buy, and I spent like $20,000 on just production equipment. And I knew that I still hadn't went to court yet. So I knew that. I visualized myself. I've never been in trouble before. I'm not going to prison. I told myself that. So what I did is, if you can see, this is my man cave. If you can see, there's like pictures all around, you know, movie pictures. So what I did is I remodeled my basement, and I took every movie that's ever impacted my life, right? Every movie. And I surrounded myself around those pictures, just to stir up motivation, stir up faith, confidence that everything was going to be all right. All right. So during that time, my daughter was getting bullied in school, and she took, well, basically what happened is they have these apps, right, where you can like get a phone number, and you can choose a phone number. I can text you, I can call you, but you can't call me back, but you can text me back. So people were taunting her, threatening her, you know, all these different things. And she got overwhelmed. So she attempted suicide. And so she went to her grandma's house and took like 30, you know, extra strength Tylenol. She's a 17-year-old kid. She's worried about my freedom. She's a daddy's girl. And her grandpa found her in a bathtub, unresponsive, right? And so from there, they rushed her to the hospital with nothing they could do for her. So they take her to the children's hospital. She was in ICU for 4 days. Now my whole world is like shattered. My daughter's fighting for her life. I'm out on bond. Don't know, you know, really what my future is. I'm just believing for something special. You see what I'm saying? My businesses are completely falling apart. The community is persecution, judgment, you know, so on and so forth. And so I'm again on an island by myself. So what I needed to do was, I bought the production equipment. I called a guy I knew. I said, "Listen, man, I know no one wants to be around me right now. It was a poor decision, bad choice. I get it." I said, "But can you put some fillers out and see if anyone will teach me how to use Final Cut Pro and teach me how to use my cameras?" So he started laughing. He said, "You bought cameras and know how to use?" I said, "Dude, I don't know how to use anything, but iMovie isn't going to help me. I'm too much of a perfectionist. I need to do it right." So one guy said, "I would love to help him." Came to my house for 3 months, twice a week, and taught me how to use Final Cut Pro. Now, here's the thing that's powerful. During this time, I'm still dealing with all this stuff, right? The very first video that I filmed and edited myself was a video that Carl saw. That right there was the most powerful thing I ever experienced. It was the video of me and little Chris. So that was the video he saw on YouTube. Now I asked myself, what if my buddy would have never told me he wouldn't do my videos again? What if I would have done nothing? So now, let me rewind a little bit. I'm still in this broken state, right? I wrote a letter to myself. And in the letter, I took every area of my life, every single area of my life, right? And I wrote what I wanted it to be, not what it was physically. I was in a position where I had nothing to lose, because I already knew what was going to happen if I didn't exercise the letter. Everything that was continuing to happen, depression, anxiety, you know, everything I was dealing with. So what I did was, in the morning, I would read this letter to myself. And whenever I got down throughout the day, I would read the letter to myself. And I would stir up the emotion like everything in the letter was really happening. Now, here's the part that was the kicker. In the letter, I wrote that I would be discovered through social media means YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and partner with the company and do something great. This is December 2015. So there's a space between December and May when the Beachbody called me. So this whole time, I would literally read this letter like it was present, stir up the emotion, the excitement, and everything, right? The more I did that, the more I started realizing that my current situation was temporary. And I convinced myself that this paper was my actual life because I already connected with it emotionally. Just like in Punta Cana, I said, if you get a glimpse of your potential and you visualize that and connect with it emotionally, it's gonna happen. That's what I did. I started connecting to what I was saying in this letter to myself emotionally to the point where I believed it. 5 months later, Beachbody called. So what happened was when they called, offered me the contract, I took the same contract to the judge. And because I'm a well-known person in my community, man, I took the letter to the judge. The judge let me off probation 2 years early, completely wiped everything off. Next year, the felony comes off my record. And so that was such a crucial time for me, man, because that's when I grew up as a man. That's when I really grew up as a person. That's when I realized how important character was. That's when I realized that I really have a purpose on this earth. Now, the motivation, where all of that comes from, the passion comes from, you know, right now, man, we live in a time that's just dark. People are depressed. They have anxiety. Some people are hopeless. They don't know about their future. People are losing their jobs. They don't have any control. So the passion that I express when I'm training is I just want people, I don't ever want a person to feel the way I felt when I was at my most broken state, man. That was a dangerous place, man. I don't want a person to ever feel like that. So I always view myself with my clients here and in Punta Cana. So I got 30 minutes to make sure these people leave different than they came. That's the mindset I had. So in those 30 minutes, all that stuff I'm saying is the things that I went through. That's why it's resonating with you guys. That's why it's so powerful, because I really lived that. I'm not speaking anything I didn't live. When people didn't believe in me, all those different things, like this is a redemption moment for me. And so I poured out my heart and soul in this project. Before you knew it, it turned into some workout with personal development. And the reason why I poured out so much is because of Carl. He started, you know, I didn't want him to have to regret his decision. You see what I'm saying? I knew I had one chance. When I was in LA for the 4 months, on my way to Beachbody every day, I listened to Eminem, Lose Yourself. I knew I had one chance, I had one shot at this, man. So I poured out my complete soul in this project, and that's why it's resonating with everybody, because it's my truest emotion and how I feel, how I want people to really be better and give birth to the greatness that lies within them. So I kind of went on and on about that.
That's okay. That's your backstory. And first of all, is everything good with your daughter? She came.
Oh yeah. She's good, man. She's healthy.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
That's where you could feel the passion, and you can feel the passion in every video that you're in. But and that's where people are resonating with you and really connecting with you. And it's really great that you put yourself out there and you do want to talk to people and you do want to help people.
Yeah.
Couple questions. Can beginners do this program?
Absolutely. Every exercise has a modification to it. And here's the deal. When we created the program, you know, when they sat down and said, okay, Chris, give us your vision of it. I said, this program has to be, remember now, this is my redemption moment, right? This is, I only got one shot at this. I have an athletic background. I train athletes. I wanted this program to be for everybody. I wanted it to be for the person that needs to lose 80 pounds, even the person that's extremely fit. And the way this program is structured is there's a modifier at every exercise. And there's no judgment, man. There's no pressure there's no pressure to perform. And I stress it throughout the video. Do what you can. Do the best you can. Just get through it. You're going to get better the more you do it. That's why the motivation and the engagement is in the program so much. So every workout, every exercise has a modification. If the guy was a Kareem, come on, man. The guy has MS. He walked with a walker. He's doing a program. He's falling. He's getting back. That's the most powerful thing I've ever seen in my life, man. That right there should answer your question. Is that program for everybody?
I agree. And from the people that we're seeing in the test group, it's people from all different weights, all different ages, and everybody's doing it to their best of their abilities. And because they have their minds right and they're focusing on their nutrition and they're doing the workouts exactly like the schedule says, they're getting crazy results. And I think that's what's so great about it. Do you know if there's going to be a modifier option, so it's going to zoom in right on the modifier?
They're in the video, I spent a lot of time with the modifier. So I'm not sure how they're gonna implement that yet, but trust me, you know who the modifiers are, who the modifiers are in the program. It's gonna be,
There was just the last couple of programs that came out. You can click a button, and then that modifier, the video was on them the whole time. So they were wondering about that, but it doesn't sound like they've told you that yet.
yeah, I don't know that information yet.
All right. So what kind of equipment do people need?
So with the program, they order the DVD, they get the Beachbody markers, and the only thing you need is medium to light dumbbells. That's it. You don't need anything other than that, except for week 4. Week 4 is the deluxe package, and that comes with the Beachbody PT sandbag.
Okay, and that's the PT sandbag is only needed on the advanced version of the program. Right?
Week 4 for that workout, for the strength and the speed workout.
People were asking when the markers are going to be available in Team Beachbody. I heard June 19th is what someone told me. Is that correct?
In that area, yeah, for sure.
So yes, it comes with 4 markers that you actually, he has you set them up different ways, and then he has different workouts around those markers. They also have ones that you can print out online, but I definitely recommend to get the rubber ones. We've been having lots of fun with them. People have been writing their goals on them. People have been taking pictures with them. So as soon as those are out, I definitely recommend getting them, and then also encouraging your teams to get them. Let's see here. You said it's for intermediate, beginner, or advanced. We see that happening throughout the test group.
Yeah.
What does success look like to you? Like if someone goes through 21 days of this, what is success?
You know what, man? I'm being 100% honest with you. And everything that I do with this program, it all goes back to those last 2 years. Success for me is for a person who didn't understand their potential. They made the shift internally, and all of a sudden gave birth to their best self. And then from that moment, empowered their family. From that moment, empowered themselves, built their business. I feel like this, man. This program cannot be successful unless everybody makes the shift. I just want people to understand that we were all put on this earth for a purpose, man. And I get it, man. Trust me. Life throws curveballs at us. We go through so much, and we lose hope. You know, if you think about it, man, we were kids. You know, we were dreamers as kids. Everybody, every man and woman wanted to be Ken and Barbie. You know what I mean? And that's just the truth. And it's like somewhere we lost that. We lost that ability to dream. We gave up. We gave up on ourselves, and then we just started living life, and then life started living us. You see what I'm saying? And so I just want people to understand that whatever dream you had is still in there. You just have to give birth to it. You got to resonate with it. And the only way you're going to do it is if you see life through different lenses. You see what I'm saying? And the only way you're going to see life through different lenses is if you manifest the best part of yourself, which is making that mental shift to understand that you got another chance at this. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to if you believe. And then there's also some things you got to do in the practical. You got to make sure your circle of influence is good, because sometimes, man, in life, if you have a dream and a goal, you know, the people you're around, their insecurities can get on you because they didn't accomplish their dreams and goals. They'll convince you that you got unrealistic expectations, and you can't have that. You got to understand, man, that like I have a purpose on this earth. There's people in this world that need each and every one of us. I always say it time and time again. I wasn't put on this earth for me. I was put on this earth for somebody else. Right now, it is important for all of us to become the best we can be, because there's a nation outside of us that needs our help. They're waiting on us. That's why people are on drugs and substance abuse, because they want to connect to something. They want to feel like they're a part of something, because they can't understand that they have a purpose. So they need to hear our story. My mess has now become my message. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's making it so real with everybody. And we all have that, man. Every last one of us have it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bands. We don't see any people using bands in the videos. Is there any possible way to use bands in this program? I don't.
Nah, the movements. I don't think bands would work. Okay. Just because of, like, for example, you know, the side lunge. How you gonna do a side lunge with a band? You get what I mean? So I don't think bands will work.
All right, I think I've covered all the questions that people asked from here. I'm going to open it up. I haven't seen what they're asking on YouTube. Last I saw, there was 277 people watching on YouTube, so there was quite a bit. Was there some questions? Teresa, were you looking at the questions coming through on YouTube for Chris?
Yeah, most of them actually got answered, but one of the questions I saw was how the workouts change each week. So
Okay.
they were different, the workout parts.
All right, so the workouts change each week. So the first week is just functional movements. For example, squat. You know, you're being cued through it. You're just doing squats for a minute. This week 2, that squat turns into a curl squat press. You see what I'm saying? So each week, the foundational movements from week 1 get compounded with other movements. So you may, for example, again, week 1, you're doing curls, you're doing shoulder press, and you're doing squats. I just said that. So then week 2, we put curl squat press together. Week 3, we add curl squat press and another move together. You see what I'm saying? So it just compounds every week with different movements based off the foundational week of 25 minutes. And it's the functional movements.
I also see one. How much space do you need for this program?
All right, so I've answered this question quite a few times. I've made posts about it. I demonstrated myself jumping, then there cracking my head on the ceiling to really show you that it ain't about the space. It's about what you do with the space that's available to you. So here's a thing for people who question if they can do the program because they have a small space. All right, so I'm a big believer in maximizing what you have. Here's my reason. So just say I have this little apartment, right? And I have this space that isn't as big as what everyone else has or what's on the DVD. Here's my mindset. I'm going to use the space I have that's available to me and give my all. Here's the reason why. Because the program is going to change me. Obviously I'm going to come in better shape. My mind's going to be renewed. I'm going to see my potential. What happens, I'm going to empower my team. My team's going to grow. Obviously my revenue is going to increase. From that point, I'm going to be able to build a home. So when I build my home, guess what? I'm going to build my weight room. I'm going to make a bigger weight room. So in case a program like this happens again, space is no longer an issue, right? So then as I'm building my home, I have this new weight room. I'm working out in this new space. I never forget my humble beginnings. I never forget my little small space. All of a sudden, there's a new coach that comes into my team. The first thing they say is, well, how do I do this workout? Because I have a little space. Guess who has a message for them? I do. You know why? Because I lived it. So I'm going to encourage this person, maximize what you have, because guess what? I was in your situation 2 or 3 years ago, and now I'm in a better situation. Sometimes we got to stop looking at ways that defeat us. Like we defeat ourselves mentally sometimes before we even start something. Everything happens for a reason. If you have a small space, you have a small space for a reason. Maximize that so that when you get more, you'll be so much more grateful and appreciative, right? And then guess what? Someone needs your story. All of our life, we're writing a book. We're writing a story. Each person on this call, guess what? You have a story. Someone needs your story. Look at right where you're at right now. Good, bad, indifferent, right, wrong, whatever it is. Accept it for what it is. Write a letter to yourself based on exactly what you want for yourself. From that point, exercise that until you get what you want. You know why? Because someone needs your story to get out of their situation to better their life. Because someone needs their story. You see what I'm saying? We gotta always look at the best of the best. Always. There's no such thing as bad news. It's news. It's what you create and what you make of it.
Exactly. So this obviously doesn't come out till July. Is there certain programs that you recommend them doing from now until July to get them prepared for the Shift Shop?
I would say do whatever.
Chris's YouTube videos.
She said, "Oh man, you're so funny, Yana. That's funny." YouTube videos. No, honestly, that's a question that's come up. And here's my thing, man. You have what, 6 weeks till this comes out? In the next 6 weeks, start working on you. How do you feel? Look at yourself. Analyze yourself. What do you want for yourself up until 6 weeks from now? If you want to lose more weight, do the insanity. If you want whatever program that relates to your current situation, do that. That's why I think this team is just so powerful because You don't have to like, just resonate with one trainer. Whatever, there's so many different trainers with so many different styles and so many different programs. You could do whatever you're feeling in this moment. I don't really think there's a program, and I'm humbly saying this. I don't think there's any program that can prepare you for the shift shop, because the shift shop is just a completely different monster, because it works your mind. It works. It's about everybody else. It's a program that's welcoming to every fitness level. So I don't really think there's a program that can prepare you for it. I think you just need to do the best you can do up until that point. And when it comes out, get ready for a miracle. It's the truth. I mean, I'm just being honest. Get ready for a miracle. You're gonna get to know yourself very well with that program, and most importantly, you're gonna get a glimpse of your potential. When you get a glimpse of your potential, take it and run with it. Go empower your family. Go empower your life, your circle of influence. Go get the life that you was created to have.
Yeah, and the thing is that I was actually going to take the summer off and loosen up on my nutrition and my workouts, because I just finished three rounds of programs back to back, getting ready for Punta Cana. I was like, after Punta Cana, I'm just going to chill over the summer, swim all summer, have some drinks, and then hit it hard when the shift shop came out. Well, then I got an invite to the test group, which I'm like, oh, there goes my summer. Thanks a lot, Chris.
We have a couple more questions about pregnancy and nursing while doing this.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then we have one more after that. But yeah, they're asking about different trimesters with doing this and the meal plan and nursing moms.
All right. So I'm gonna tell you something. I think there's a lady. Who is it? I just saw it in the test group.
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I didn't even know she was pregnant. So they show her before pictures, and then her 21-day pictures. She got abs. I'm thinking there's a baby in there, so she can't go on because obviously she's entering another trimester. But man, I just thought that was just so powerful. So here's my suggestions to that. You know, I've never been pregnant, obviously. So I think you got to really use wisdom and based on how you feeling in that moment. Most definitely modify if you do it, and just kind of, you know, monitor your body and make that decision based on wisdom. And as far as nursing, I don't foresee it being a problem, because you have so many options in the grocery list. You just have to, again, you choose the foods that complement making sure your baby's healthy, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing anyway.
Yeah, I don't see any problems with it. I talked to your doctor or pharmacist or whoever you need to talk to. But I mean, with nursing, you just have to up your calories. With pregnancy, you have to up your calories, and then you have to modify and make sure that you're not, you're not harming the baby. But definitely talk to your medical provider on that one.
Yeah.
But with the grocery list and everything, I don't see any problems except the cutting out the starchy carbs. That may be
right.
something.
Hey, Chris, how are you going from owning your own gyms and being a trainer to now being Beachbody famous, being a super trainer? How are you feeling about that shift happening? And what are you most excited about for Summit?
Well, honestly, I don't think about it. I really don't. Like I don't think about the famous stuff because I'm not famous. I'm Chris. I'm not. I just don't get caught up in that. And I mean,
that's what I asked you, because your humble video in our call and our thing was one of the best videos I've ever heard from anyone in your position, and I just wanted to thank you for that. But I knew you were going to talk about being humble, which is what I like for you to. You're so humble. So I love that about you, and so I just wanted to ask you how you felt about it, because I knew that would be your answer.
Well, here's the thing. Let's just be honest. You know, everybody is gravitating. Here, let me make something clear. You're not gravitating to Chris Downing. You're not. You're gravitating to my gift. My gift is separate from me. It's something that was given to me freely that I'm using to better those around me. I don't want you gravitating to me. I'm a man with flaws. I don't even like me sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you're attracted to my gift. The gift is what's resonating with everybody. I feel like the famous thing, I'm not an attention seeker. I just don't really get into that. that doesn't validate who I am as a person. Like I said, I had a rough couple years, man. Like famous means nothing to me. What means something to me is somebody telling me, dude, I got a glimpse of my potential and this is what I created from that. That's what matters to me. It ain't about the money. It ain't about the fame. I don't care about that. That doesn't make me happy. What makes me happy is what I've been seeing the last 21 days, but yeah, I'm not into that famous stuff. I still go to Target. I'm always going to go to Target. I love Target.
Chris, there was a question about doing multiple rounds, and a lot of us in the test group are doing round 2, and so we kind of have that picture, but how does it work if someone wanted to do 3 rounds or 4 rounds, and can you kind of talk to them about what the second round looks like?
So it starts out week 1, 2, 3, and then if you go through a second round, you go to week 2, back to week 3, and then you do week 4. And the reason why we converted it that way to make it a 6-week program if you wanted to, and we could not go week 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna tell you right now, week 4, wait till you guys experience week 4. Week 4, I'm gonna be honest, I threw up in my mouth. I did. I'm just telling you the truth. Listen, when we were in rehearsal, when we did week 4. So week 4 has the most fit people in the video that we casted, right? They couldn't even get past 2 rounds of it. So I threw up in my mouth. I went in the bathroom, rinsed, came back out, and I looked at everybody. I said, first of all, this is abusive. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I don't like throwing up. It was just extra ab work that I really wasn't interested in doing at that time because I threw up in my mouth. So we condensed it to 50 minutes because technically it was supposed to be 60 minutes. We got rid of 3 exercises, but we have fun though. Like we laughed about that. So week 4 is an animal. Like you get to week 4, you need to pat your own self on the shoulder. So we couldn't follow up with 1, 2, 3, 4 because we'd have lost everybody. We had to cycle them through to rev you up for week 4.
After you do the 2 rounds, people have been asking, I'm curious too, like the maintenance part of the nutrition, because you cut your carbs, like you go and cut your starchy carbs. What would you say? Because I know when you said you were getting ready for like a photo shoot or something, you're obviously cutting the carbs. Right. Obviously, some people want to add a little bit of the back or kind of create whatever that balance is in their life, and everyone's different. What would you say is the maintenance program that has been, I guess, would be a successful way to able to keep what you got because you work so hard, you know what I mean, but not go, you know what I mean?
So here's the deal. This is exactly what's going to happen. I threw a curveball at you guys in the test group, and I wasn't going to say anything. I did it on purpose just because, first of all, I watched everybody bust their butt for 3 weeks, right? And I know people. I know in the back of y'all's mind, some of you guys were like, I can't wait to have a burger. I can't wait to have this. I can't wait to have Mexican. So when I said that after the last workout, go eat, do whatever you want. I did that for a reason because 90% of you guys got sick after you did that. You got sluggish. You didn't feel good. I proved the point that I was never taking anything from you. What I was doing was giving you a glimpse of who you really could become if you stay disciplined. Now, here's the key. Once you start feeling good, are you honestly going to pollute your body again? Once you start feeling good. Now, so we go week 1, 2, 3. You cycle back through again. You're going to, for weeks 4 and 5, you're going to eat week 2's meal plan, which is very balanced. Your carbs are back in. And then week 6, you go back to no carbs again. So basically what's happening is in 6 weeks, you're going to get a pretty good idea of how you feel. You're going to be so intelligent, so in tune with your body, feeling so good and loving yourself more than ever. You're going to use so much wisdom what you put in your body. You're going to manage and maintenance it yourself because of the way you feel. It's going to be that easy. Don't overcomplicate it. Trust me. You'll make the best decisions after that 6 week for sure.
Thank you.
All right.
I had one more question that I got on here. I thought was pretty good. So if somebody doesn't want to lose weight, they want to get bigger or build more muscle. Would this be a good program for them to build muscle, not just to lose weight?
Yes, and this is how you're gonna approach it. So for those of us here, this actually came up the other day. So say you're already lean, right? And you wanna put on some size. I would lift heavier in the program. because those of us that want to lean out, you notice how we were like really trying to get as many reps we could in that allotted time. You're just going to take your time, lift heavier. You're not going to shoot for reps. You're going to shoot for volume, like muscle volume. You see what I'm saying? So you obviously, if you increase your weight, you're not going to be able to go as fast as you were if you were using 10 or 15 pounds less. That's the difference. Just use heavier weights. That's it.
Perfect. Wow. Chris, thank you so much. Teams, we have a lot of different teams on here, and we have 6 weeks until Summit. You have UV2 that just came out. You got Sean Week that's coming up. You have a whole library of programs that you can invite people to and you can do yourself. Seriously, do not wait for Summit to get started on your journey. If you've been slacking, start getting back on, doing your personal development, and start inviting people to join you. When this comes out, I want to challenge you to get as many people on board with you as possible and do this program perfectly. It's nothing like we've ever experienced before. Seriously, if you are a beginner, he gives you breaks. If you're a beginner, you just take it a little slower. You might have to take a few more seconds during the breaks and things like that. But the moves are not so complicated that you're not going to be able to do them. You're going to be able to do this, and you're going to appreciate the shift that your mind has made and your body has made after the 21 days. It's an amazing program. So it comes out during Summit, and just start getting the excitement out to your teams and your customers and everything now, and be ready for this shift. But Chris, thank you so much for joining us. And I don't know, I guess you got a whole week of more calls coming up. So I hope you enjoyed being on here with us.
I do, but if there's one thing I can leave you guys with, man, and let's just get rid of the shift shop for a second. All right. I have a challenge for everybody that's on this call. And this is my challenge to you. The next 24 to 48 hours, what I want you to do is really scan yourself. And I'm not talking about physically, internally. I want you to add, again, for real, seriously, I'm not even talking about the shift shop, because again, this is way bigger than that. What I want is for everybody to seriously scan yourself. What have you aborted internally as far as your dreams and goals? Why have you given up on yourself if you've given up on yourself? What has happened that has caused you to lose faith and belief in yourself, to make you feel that you don't have value, you don't have a purpose on this earth, right? I want everybody on this call to accept right where they are at this moment. And from there, I want you to start dreaming again. I want you to start seeing yourself doing great things. I want you to see yourself being successful. But most importantly, I want you to see yourself happy. I want you to love yourself again. I want you to be in a position where after you do the shift shop, 21-day fix, whatever program it is, that you are seriously walking every day in your best self. Again, guys, this isn't even about the shift shop. This is just how I genuinely care about each and every person that I'm connected to. I just want to see you happy. I get it. I know you've had setbacks. I know some of you guys have been through some of the toughest things, but guess what? It didn't break you. You're still here. Yes, you're bruised. Guess what? I'm bruised. I'm bruised badly. But the thing about it is we got an opportunity to reinvent ourselves. You can reinvent yourself and become anything you ever desire to be. And no one can take that from you unless you allow them to. So my challenge to you guys is, please write the letter to yourself. Really start dreaming again. Make these dreams big, okay? Make them big. Don't play it safe. You got one life to live. What's the worst that can happen? What's happening right now? So you might as well just take a leap of faith and create the world you want. If you need anything from me, and I mean it, anything. When you do I told the test group this, and I mean it. I don't care if I have to stay up 18 hours a day. When you do your challenge groups, let me help you. I'll send you videos to send to your team. I want to see you happy, guys. I want to see you successful. But most importantly, I want to see you living out your purpose. So whatever you need from me, send me a message. When you do your challenge groups, I'll send you custom messages. I'm not going to send one message for no. I'm going to name your team just so it's intimate, so that your people, the new people, know that you really care about them. All right? We're in this together. I don't succeed unless you succeed. This is how it works. This is bigger than me, guys. I need your help just as much as you feel you need mine. Thanks a lot for having me on tonight's call. And again, remember what I said, man. Start dreaming again.
Thank you, Chris.
Amazing, Chris.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good night.
All right.
Thank you for everybody that got on.